Booth was killed. 8 people were later convicted, 4 sentenced to death, including the first female woman in history. But yet, they don't really tell you about that in the books, do they? It's always just John Wilkes Booth. They were also going to try to kill the Vice President and the Secretary of State. And notice how whenever it's a political assassination of modern times, the mainstream media teaches you all 3 names. Lee Harvey Oswald, James Earl Ray, Mark David Chapman. I'll ask you this, what's Charles Manson's middle name? The most notorious murderer in modern day history, and they don't teach you his middle name, do they? There's a reason for that. To narrow it down, to get it to where, you get conditioned. They condition you for all this, and we need to break that conditioning. Our country was founded with our forefathers for us to be vigilant. Like today, this whole government shutdown, it's our fault. It's our fault because we elect them. Stop voting for Democrats and Republicans and vote for anyone else. I've been saying it now for a decade. That's the only way to take the country back. The power's still ours if we want to use it. But we're not diligent enough. We're not doing what our forefathers told us to do. Yes, ma'am. How can you organize Jesse Ventura for president of New York? Well, thanks. You can put the pressure on Howard Stern to run with me. Besiege him, because there's a method to my madness, people, and I'll explain it to you. I despise the system we have in this country of electing officials. It's a system based completely on bribery. Bribery, the money. Well, I hate that, and they don't like to talk about my election, and I'll tell you why. I am the only elected official to a major governor, Congress, Senate, president who made more money doing the job than what I spent to get it. I only raised $300,000 to become the governor of Minnesota. It was all in $50 donations from people like you. I accepted no PAC money, no special interest money, and here's another thing. My 4 years in office as governor of the state of Minnesota, not once did I meet with a lobbyist. My first day in office, I told my staff, tell the lobbyists don't bother, they didn't elect me, I don't need to talk to them. And I never met with the official bribers, the guys that come in and bribe you. Well, I didn't get tempted by that because I never let them in the door. Now, here's why I need Howard. When I ran for governor of Minnesota, I had a statewide talk radio show. I was immediately suspended when I filed by the FCC. I had to go unemployed for 6 months while my 2 opponents were cashing government checks, my money. And obviously not doing their jobs because they were out campaigning like I was. Isn't that interesting? They hold one job, yet they can leave that job and campaign for another and don't even do the job they're supposed to be doing. Their subordinates do it. Shows they're not essential, don't it? Maybe they ought to be laid off. But anyway, that aside, I need Howard because Sirius Radio don't fall under the FCC, and we could use his show right up to Election Day. Right up to it. Plus, Howard even said to me, he said, you do the governing, let me raise the money. All Howard would have to do to his listeners is say, look, we need $10 a piece. We need $20 a piece. How much money do you think Howard would get? And how much influence would we be selling for $20? It's not, if you send us 20, trust me, you're not going to get in the door saying, gee, I sent you $20 and I need a favor. You know, I bought you a cup of coffee for lunch. That's about what it's equivalent to. But that's why I need Howard, because I don't want to sell my values. I do not support the third-party movement today, and I'll tell you why. Any third party to be successful is going to have to sell out like the other two. They're going to have to corrupt themselves. You've already got a 2-headed monster. What do you need a 3-headed one for? And here's what I'll win on if it's done, if it happens. I will win on, I believe, one issue alone. You want to focus it down and get one clear, concise message. Here's what it would be. I would give you people the opportunity to make history. To make history. by electing the first president since George Washington, the father of our country, who does not belong to a political party. George Washington is the only president we've ever had who did not belong to a political party. If I run, you would get the opportunity to do that for the second time, and I think that that would be wonderful. And I think that would send a huge message to the Democrats and the Republicans, as I call them. But it doesn't end there. If it happens, I still need you. I still need you. You can't just say, oh, the big guy will take care of it all. It don't work that way. Just like this whole Syrian war they tried to just stick us in. You know why we're not there? Because the phone calls to the senators and congressmen were running over 300 to 1 opposing going into Syria. Thank you. You're starting to wake up. You're starting to become vigilant. You're starting to become what our forefathers had in mind all along. Because good government happens when you hold your elected officials' feet to the fire. And so the fault lies with us. We're the ones that elected them. Yes, sir.